subject. I mean, it's a Glenn Beck program. What do you expect? You're going to hear things that you agree with all the time? Tonight, you're going to hear things that you agree with and disagree with, and you're going to be pushed hard. If you are a Christian or a Muslim, both of these are probably they're going to be different points of view, and so they're going to probably hack you off. But I don't always say what I want to say. I say what I think we have to. Don't take anything at face value. Do your own homework. Make your own decision. This is information you need to know. And we're all people here, so we have to try to get it right, but know that it's going to push you to the limits. Tonight I'm going to show you the apocalyptic version of Christianity and the Twelvers in Iran, and also the people that believe in the extreme ends of the Mahdi out of the Muslim Brotherhood. And it's not good. I want to introduce you to Joel Richardson. He is the author of The Islamic Antichrist. How are you, sir?
Very good.
Good to see you. And also, we're going to talk to Zuhdi Jasser. He is a practicing Muslim and a physician, also the president of the American Islamic Forum for Democracy, and he's going to join us in just a few minutes. But I wanted to start here with Joel and talk a little bit about the 12th Imam and the Mahdi as understood by Ahmadinejad and also the nut jobs at the top of the Muslim Brotherhood. Same basic guy, right?
There's a difference with regard to how they emerge onto the world scene, but once they arrive, they're essentially the same individual.
The Twelvers believe it's the 7-year-old. Is he going to come back as a 7-year-old, or does it matter?
I believe he comes back as an adult.
As an adult, okay. And the Mahdi is not the 7-year-old for the Muslim Brotherhood, but he does the same things.
He's an individual that comes back and just emerges out of humanity in order to elevate the Islamic world, to bring the Islamic world together and cause Islam to be victorious throughout the earth.
Okay, first let me go on this, because we have some comparisons of the book of Revelation and then the story of the 12th Imam or the Mahdi. And it is, America, it will blow your mind. It will blow your mind. Let's start first here. Let's start with chaos. Why would anyone want chaos?
According to Islamic tradition, it is out of chaos that their Messiah, the Mahdi, would emerge onto the world scene.
Okay, that is the same basic story that Christians believe. It's going to be a 7-year tribulation. It's going to be nasty for 7 years. And bloodshed, there's not going to be anybody left, really, towards the end. And then the Messiah comes, right?
Delivers the earth, redeems the earth, restores creation,
right, and
delivers his people.
Okay. So it's the same kind of chaos we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Both stories have the beheadings of people in it, right?
Right.
Okay.
The Bible says that the method whereby the Antichrist would kill his enemies, Jews and Christians, is through beheading. And then, interestingly enough, it's Islam. It's actually in the Quran. It says, strike the necks of the infidels. Some translations say, behead the infidels. Okay. Islam has this rich tradition of beheading their enemies.
But these guys believe that the 12th Imam is coming if they create enough chaos. So in other words, wash the world in blood, because I don't know if, do you know of any Christian sects that believe they can hasten the return of Jesus by creating chaos?
No, they can pray.
Yeah, okay. But this would be, so you can kind of understand, this would be like some kind of extreme crazy Christian who is like, hey, you know what, Jesus is coming, so let's just get it all over with. What do you say? We go start slaughtering people, so Jesus will come back and split the mountains, right?
Right.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. So when Ahmadinejad says, help me hasten the return of the promised one, what does he mean by that?
Essentially, the method that they believe that they can hasten the return of the Mahdi is to attempt to carry out the things that he will do. So they're pushing for the unification of the Islamic world. And some of these radicals believe that by initiating global chaos, that they can force the hand of Allah, force the hand of God to make the Mahdi emerge.
So the best case scenario is he means that by saying, I want a global caliphate.
Best case scenario, and in the midst of that, we have to consider the fact that you cannot separate that from the destruction of the state of Israel and the Jewish people.
Okay, back in just a second. Tonight, it's big boy time. Tonight is not an episode that you casually watch and take out of context like Media Matters does. Tonight is one that you have to look at and really ask yourself, this means nothing if you take it from me or one of my guests. You have to know what is true. This is one that, I wouldn't recommend that you ignore the crazy statements of Timothy McVeigh or Jim Jones or Charlie Manson or Osama bin Laden. They all had crazy statements, and then they followed through with it. Usually people who say they're going to kill you, they usually mean it. We don't in the West understand people that are like that. We don't understand the spiritual leader of the Muslim Brotherhood who believes in using children as bombs, or Ahmadinejad who believes in hastening the return of the 12th Imam through chaos. But we must understand that kind of thinking if we are to survive. Tonight, you must consider the unthinkable. Watch this.
Well, I think that there's no question that in this time of chaos throughout the Middle East, Iran is trying to establish themselves as sort of the leader of the Islamic revolution.
They believe that the 12th Imam, the Islamic Messiah, will come at a time of chaos, a time of great confusion in the Middle East. The Iranian leaders are rapidly pursuing the missiles and the nuclear weapons capability that will create the additional chaos and carnage into which the 12th Imam is supposed to come.
We have to know about the 12th Imam because he's important to the people who seek to do us harm. Every speech that I've ever heard Mahmoud Ahmadinejad give, almost at the beginning of every speech, talks about the 12th Imam, gives him credit for guiding him and helping him.
Oh God, hasten the arrival of Imam al-Mahdi.
Oh God, hasten the arrival of Imam al-Mahdi.
In your speeches, you pray for God to hasten the arrival of the hidden Imam.
When the Imam arrives, all of these problems will be resolved.
When he calls for the hastening of the return of the Mahdi, he is asking for that Messiah to return and bring peace and establish Sharia law, but that can only occur when there is an atmosphere globally of bloodshed and chaos. What circumstance could bring about the kind of bloodshed and chaos that would usher in the reign of the Mahdi more quickly than by using a nuclear weapon against the nation of Israel?
They need to annihilate Jewish Christian civilization as we've known it. Why then would they give up their nuclear weapons program?
It's hard for people to understand, especially for Westerners. It's hard for them to understand fanaticism.
Our leaders in this country have not been honest with the American public as to who the enemy is.
Certainly American political leaders can think, look, this 12th Imam stuff is ridiculous, that it's mythical, it's fanciful, it doesn't mean anything. However, the issue is that the leaders of Iran believe it.
There is an opportunity now for us to demand from the elected leadership that they be open and honest about what we're confronted by, and then that they take active steps to protect America from this.
All right. I have done research on this for several years, for five or 6 years, and just finished a one-year research project on it. It was just finished 2 weeks ago, and it's called Rumors of War, and you need to see it at glennbeck.com and arm yourself with information. Joel Richardson is the author of The Islamic Antichrist, and Dr. Zuhdi Jasser is a practicing Muslim and physician. He is also president of the American Islamic Forum for Democracy. I'm going to go to Zuhdi here in a second, but Joel, I want to come to you first, and you take me through this chalkboard, because America, this is going to freak you out, and don't take my word for it. Don't. I'm telling you, everybody's going to... I can't wait to read the headlines in about an hour. This is amazing. Do not take my word for it. Joel, take me through. This is the Jesus side. This is what's in the book of Revelation of the Antichrist. This is the general story in case you don't know anything about Christianity. End of the world, Jesus comes back, but this is the story leading up. This is the story of the 12th Imam, or the Mahdi. And this is to see if the story... I did this about 5 years ago and about wet my pants when I finished the research on it. Let's go here. Take us from the beginning. Here's what the Bible says the Antichrist does.
Yeah, on the left-hand side, you have the bad guy of the Bible. He primarily persecutes God's people, the Jews and the Christians.
The Imam.
He likewise causes Jews and Christians either to submit to Islam or be killed.
Where do you find this?
It's abundantly found throughout the Islamic sacred traditions known as the Hadith.
Okay. The Antichrist rules for 7 years, according to the Bible. The Mahdi, or the 12th Imam,
according to Islamic sacred tradition, also rules for a period of 7 years.
Makes peace with Israel, breaks the peace treaty halfway through.
Yeah. On the biblical side, the Antichrist then invades the land of Israel, conquers the land of Israel for his antichristic powers. On the Islamic side, the Mahdi also invades the land of Israel and, as they would say, takes it back for the Muslim world.
Okay, wait until we have to take a break. We're going to come back and wait until you get to the mark of the beast. Next.